Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to War Hospital. This is episode number 10. Up until a moment ago, we had 10 patients survive, 0 dead here in the chapter. But we do have our first patient who has passed away. But there was somebody that we denied giving a surgery to, knowing that they were not going to survive anyway, or very unlikely to survive. Our first cargo train since the start of the chapter has just brought in more resources, and we are full once again. Something we experienced early in chapter 1, but not for long at all. 5 hours till the current project is done, though, is a lot, but I think some of that is engineers. I thought we were already under. One of them is resting. Okay, we're going to take him off the project while he rests, because it looks like all 5 of these guys are pretty tired. In fact, let's take a second one off the project.
Sir, engineer is on the way.
Begin the rest period. That ups it to 7 hours, but that's okay. We've made some good progress on that project already. Casualty clearing station, after something like 10 new patients were just brought to us late in the episode. It's a little busy, but it's nothing too bad here. We do have a well-rested doctor. We do have a critical patient, so we'll get him in there first. 2 that are serious. The others are resting, so it's kind of a hurry up and wait. Can we get this one in time? Yes. Okay. That other serious one is going to require something, though. We're going to have to wait a little bit, let someone get a little rest, and then we'll pick them up.
Patient is cured.
Meanwhile, the rehab center, almost everybody is headed for the trenches because we have a new chapter. So we needed to add strength to the front, but with that finally under control, we could start putting guys into HQ, increasing the numbers there, which are actually good right now at 35 anyway. Only ongoing surgery has had a positive event, cutting the risk of surgery down from a 2 to a 1, or difficulty, I think that was, not risk. That should cut the time down a little bit. And yeah, here is our serious guy, but we also do have now a rested Luis Collins, so Collins can take care of him before we end that shift. Let's look at who is in the most sad shape. Will deteriorate the fastest. We'll get 2 surgeries in and then send him back on another break. Meanwhile, we do have somebody here at the trauma ward waiting. I hate that it's a 15-hour surgery and difficult. I guess that's why it's tropical. Tropical. I said that last episode. I'm combining the two, trauma ward, chemical. Somewhere in my head, it's blending. Anyway, that's going to use up a lot of trauma supplies. I'll have to get started on getting some of that recovered. Another positive event and 4 supplies saved. Sounds wonderful, but we are looking a risk of 3, and we can cut that down entirely. Risk of 3 is awfully high. We'd rather see them survive. Last episode, I was explaining objectives for this series. I discovered that our counter resets after each of the chapters. With a counter reset, means there's more patients that we're going to ultimately see over the course of this series, much more than expected. And as a result, longer rehab, yeah, you know what, longer rehab's okay. We'll take the morale boost. As a result,
Sir,
I had to reassess how I score the game. I don't know if the points will end up balancing out, but ultimately there's more patients, so it's possible. The target was 520 points from surviving patients. We're going to see many more patients than expected. I don't know how many we're going to see in this second chapter, but if we saw 250 in the first chapter, and we're going to see roughly 600 in the third chapter. Second chapter should be somewhere in between that, anywhere from 350 to 400. That's going to put us up to about 1,200 patients in all. We saved more than half, even by only 100 or 200. It's going to take a lot to get that number to get to 520 as a positive balance. That's what the new target's going to be, as a positive balance. To get that would take out of 1,200 patients to get 500 positive. That would be like no, 7.5 is not even it. That's only 200. You'd have 9.3. That would be 600. It would be about 850 that we'd have to save. That's a lot. That's a lot. We lost nearly 100 in the first one. We've got doctors in good shape. We've got patients in good shape. Looking at the ones that are a little worse off. One is well rested, so we're going to start with giving him a couple of assignments. We're going to wait a little bit longer on the others. I do have time accelerated a little bit right now. Things are a little easier than they will be later. Taking one engineer, putting him back on the project to help that get done a little bit faster, down to 4.5 hours with his help, and starting to construct trauma medicine materials. And then the rehab, we had a few more. Yeah, we have 4 more patients here. We'll continue to send some to the front to build up the longevity of it, but more and more we're going to start sending to headquarters. There's an additional one that just came in. 7 points to headquarters this time, 3 to the front. Scouts off on a mission, finally coming back from this. Reaching the refugees village, the scout team finds only rubble and ash. All the houses were burned to the ground. At the request of the refugees, the scouts located packages they had hidden near the village. They contained mostly personal items or family mementos. Returning them to the villagers should give the civilians some hope. There were tracks of marching soldiers and multiple trucks on the road. Tire marks were deep and clearly visible. Trucks must have transported something heavy. Tracking them should not be hard. Let's follow the tracks. Morale increased to 68%, 15% boost for that. Let's go ahead and we've got, yes, waiting for assignment. Let's get in there. We had, no, wait. There we go. We increased Hugo Baker's team to 3 members. We wanted to do the same for Kai Murray. That's going to involve using 2 staff contracts. We're up to 8, by the way. I'm not sure what we just did to get more there, but we'll take that. All right, one of our doctors is now well rested. The other one is still just rested, but it's time to get back and start getting some surgeries on the go. So we'll give them each a few hours worth of assignments. You know what? Maybe we'll just get the other one out of the way. There you go. That's everyone assigned. Meanwhile, after the rest, there you go. Chemical ward. That's 1 waiting. And that's it. That is all 7 assigned. That is the first time in a long time that we've been able to do that. And then we've already had a positive event. Time cut down.
That operation was successful.
Another positive event. We can take a normal recovery or schedule a longer recovery but boost morale. We'll take the morale boost, 72%. And another positive event moments later. We have 1 patient who just came into the advanced dressing station. Decreased cost. Here we go. Decreased cost. Very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Major, I would like to propose a solution to our constant stalemate on the front. We should dig a tunnel beneath no man's land and blow up enemy positions. I've already gained approval from HQ.
It seems a bit excessive. Are you not too optimistic about this idea, Lieutenant Colonel? The Germans have proved time and time again that they have excellent tunnel detecting equipment. We could turn out to be shooting ourselves in the leg rather than a bullseye to the enemy's head.
Do not be so pessimistic, Major. We've never tried it on this section of the front, so they're surely not expecting it. Besides, all I request is help from your engineers and maybe some resources. Your help will be more than welcome, but I intend to go through with it anyway.
Okay, well, let's start with our positive event, but seems to be a big part of our second chapter here. Shorter rehab, good. Another positive, not a big one, but guessing that is our... Okay, we have 11 minutes to decide on this. Digging the tunnel blueprints. By the way, I'm rather short. Gosh, what is it in centimeters? Because I know so much of the world doesn't use it. 5'6". We're talking well below average height. Not tiny, but well below average height. I was always the smallest kid growing up. I was a pretty dang good athlete. That was my I'm never going to go pro because I was too small no matter what the sport was. And I was definitely not insanely good at anything. I was very good. I won a league MVP. I was good, and I've been a good athlete all my life, and I coach 4 sports. But those who can't coach, I couldn't because I was just too damn small. I would have been a tunnel rat, and I was in the Army, and I got in water buffaloes. I had those mundane tasks that are assigned to the smallest guys. It happened. It's part of being small. I don't hit my head on things very often, but actually I hit my head harder when I do because I'm not paying attention to it. We've saved 19 out of 20 patients. Let's see what's up with this tunnel. Angus gained approval from HQ to dig a tunnel below no man's land in an effort to surprise the enemy. He has requested our help in completing the project. He wants our engineers to help with designing the blueprints and laying out paths for the dugout. One engineer will be sent for 12 hours, and it will be done slightly faster. We are 100% going to commit help to this. We just finished that project, so we've got a few guys resting, and they have a short window on that. Whoever's the shortest will be the guy gone for 12 hours.
Sir,
Our coverage of the front is very weak so far. Looks like we have a VIP coming in and a positive event. We can amputate a leg. We can increase costs but shorter rehab by 10.5 hours. It's one resource being the difference on that one makes it acceptable. Morale's up to 76%, like in that part. We did lose one engineer, but we have guys ready for projects. It was just 1 hour away. Rehab center starting to get full fast, especially with things sped up. Let's get a few more points to the front. Fatigue's starting to set in for these two, so let's go ahead and get the rotation on. Those guys will be ready in 3 hours, and then we'll start the project. Checking back in, we do have a few new patients. 2 in the trauma ward. Surgery ward, we do have a serious patient, but we have a well-rested doctor who can take care of them. Meanwhile, the goal of waiting till 11 o'clock is now just minutes away. I also have another scout assignment that I should probably get on the go, so let's visit the scout tent first. Counter espionage. At Champtier Hills, a group of people are asking questions about the hospital and nearby Frontline, showing an unusual interest in both subjects. Scout team should be sent to investigate and find out if they are German spies. Both are awaiting orders, so we'll make 2 assignments here. But it's weird that it doesn't let you do both assignments simultaneously. There we go. Love struck. Man from a nearby village came to the scouts to plead for their help. Seems his daughter went missing 2 days ago, and he fears someone could have kidnapped her. Rehab center filling up pretty quickly. We've got one waiting on decision. It's only 1 point, but we'll send him to the trenches, and then the other 2 to HQ. I want to split at least a third of the points to the front. Operating ward. Good event there. We've had a great ratio so far, but there's a negative event as we save our 22nd. Increased cost or longer rehab. Not a fan of the longer rehab, but not a fan of 2 resources. If it was 1 for that amount of time, I would do it, but we're gonna have to go with the longer rehab. Okay, post 11, camp improvements. We have 800 supply right now, so we have not dropped off much from that 1,000. We've got another train. It's 6 hours away, though. Getting the rehab center up to a higher level might be a good thing. 10 more patients there, as we've seen some real issues with that. Additional doctors, but the trauma and the chemical ward, tricky place. Like it feels like the place you got to just suck it up and let some of those patients go. Save who you can, but everything's so expensive there. Shift system, I've put it off much longer than I should, but I'm going to put it off a little bit longer. Wow. A fluoroscope would decrease operation difficulty by 50%, but we'd have to go through an improvement here that would be costly. That would be really costly. But clearly the surgery ward is like the way to go. We haven't done anything with production for a while. Let's see what we've got. Decreasing the amount of food used to feed as we improve staff. That's actually probably a handy one to have and not terribly expensive. Taking just 3 hours, we can probably get through the project without any rest necessary or swap necessary, but we'll see. Patients continue to be brought to us from the rear, not from the front. And in the meantime, we have 3 awaiting. We have a well-rested doctor who could easily take care of all 3 while the other one is still resting. Or we have him get up for 1 hour and said well-rested, and now you're tired and extremely exhausted. Like, how is that happening? That's not making any sense. Our VIP is already being seen. Seem to get a lot more trauma ward patients than chemical ward, so if anything, that would be the one to expand first. And our doctor in the chemical ward is a little bit tired still, so we'll hold off for now. Positive event, a 2-3 down to a 1 in risk and time. Or difficulty, I suppose, is the right term for that as we get yet another positive. We can go from 2 to 1. That's pretty easy. Longer rehab though, boost morale. Morale is actually pretty high, but we'll take it. 9 hours isn't that long on the boost. We have nothing urgent we need anyone for, and the rehab center is hanging on just fine. Might need to commit to the rehab center upgrade though. Weak sauce here. 2, 1, and 1. We'll send 2 to the front, 2 to the rear. As we have new patients incoming. Looks like just one medic team. No, same medic team goes back, grabs a second patient, gets us to 10. No longer capacity, that's half capacity. At least that's going for us. We're plus 25 now, 26 and 1 so far. Chemical ward, holy crap, these guys all just came from the same place. Doctor's well rested. Resources are cheap for everyone but the first guy. Everyone's good. Let's get rid of the 2 that are going to be the cheapest and have wounds that are a bit worse. Trauma ward. 14, 13, and 7. Just 1 for surgery ward. And our doctor's well rested again. Upgrade project is already complete. We still have plenty of resources, though it is down under 500. Some of the upgrades are starting to get expensive, so a research time, or in this case, it's not research, right? It's construction. But a construction time decrease, equivalent of research time decrease, is usually one of those things you target first in a game, and then off you go. I think it's time we target that one, as some of these things are starting to take much longer and utilizing our engineers for quite a bit longer. Not a fast upgrade though, 21 hours. We are going to have to do some rotation for sure. Loving the morale at 83% though. Just like that, rehab center's full. Our VIP. Will they let him go back to the front? They will. Do we want him to go back to the front? Probably not. We'll send him to HQ. That's already a couple points to HQ. We'll send a couple to the front and 1 more to HQ. Plus 9 now at awaiting being sent to HQ. Events and an upgrade. Medic team. Morale over time is definitely a good thing, and he does have a negative, so composed is definitely not the way to go. And let's see these events. The positive one first. Shorter rehab and morale increase. Now 85%. Here's the tough one. What happened? Increased risk. The nurses are having a pretty hard time keeping up with things. The medic team's life is easy. There's only so much for them to do right now. There's a lot of sit and wait. For now. We'll have events where they're going to be busy, but for them, it's easy more often than not. The nurses, you always want to stay on top of things. We want to improve their state in the casualty clearance station. We want to improve the effectiveness of operations, and we'd like to improve rehab times as well. We don't have enough nurses for any of those tasks, and in rotation, this is the normal rotation, but it's not enough. So nurses is definitely something to target short term as fatigue becomes an issue here. With our activity on upgrades, and as I just said, the need for more nurses, we're going to go ahead and spend 4 points to help out both of those groups. Does not bring either to maximum. I'm going to save those last 2 points, even though we could obviously use another engineer. I'm going to go ahead and take that warehouse enhancement as well, because we just filled up on resources, and that's going to be an issue. So pulling somebody off of one upgrade, making 2 slow upgrades, is going to be the staff lodging. Okay, I guess we'll take the one that's resting. We're down to just the pharmacy, but we need to rotate those guys out, so we'll assign just the one. The entrance. After inspecting the terrain maps and the trench site, 2 possible points of entry for the tunnel have been found. First, in the west. It is a safer option, but will be much harder to detect, will be much harder to detect by the enemy, but it will take much more time. Second is in the east and will allow for much shorter tunnels, but it's more likely that it will be detected by the enemy. Surprise is going to be hugely important here. Counter measures inside these tunnels nasty business, from flooding them to forcing cave-ins to countering with your own trenches to get in their trench to either set fires, use explosives, or get in and actually go on a raid and attack. Whew, brutal stuff. So we'll definitely go with, even though it's going to take longer, the safer one. 7 days for the tunnels. Things are happening quick. 2 more patients. 1 for the trenches, 1 for HQ. Another train in 40 minutes, but what type of train is it? It's personnel. Then the next cargo is at 6 in the morning, or it's 11 at night, so it's going to be a while before we have another cargo arrival. Positive event, decreased cost and shorter operation. Low risk to begin with, so yeah, we'll keep the low risk. 3 well-rested doctors and only 1 patient requiring a surgery. But trauma ward's another matter. 2 very long surgeries. 1 that puts you a little bit worse, so we'll put him in there first. Chemical ward, though, is busy. We got a terminal patient. Nothing we can do. Denied. Another level up. Vermount. Doctors coming back around for their 2nd upgrade, which is awesome. The first one's already been really handy for the operation simplification. Works more efficiently, so they're faster. I'm not worried about the eating part. Works significantly better. Seems like a good one. Tires slightly slower, significantly lower chances of... that's a double bonus, though. Being faster is nice, but tiring out less so. Having complications less so. Plus 30. What a start. We just turned down a patient, so we are going to lose another one, and we're bound to lose somebody in surgery before too long here. There it is. Denied admission. -2. But holy cow, what a start to this chapter, huh? Casualty clearance station nearly in check. I mean, 4 guys waiting is all. Morale went from 50% to 84 in the time of the 34 patients. Just, what, 2 days? 2 days since we started the chapter. We've gone through a lot of resources, though, but we've got 2 major upgrades happening at the same time right now. We're already back up to 44 military contracts, higher than we started the chapter, but we just lost our first patient on the operating table, or is it our 2nd? I know we denied 1 of the 3 that have passed, but I think we denied 2 of them. But at a more than 10-to-1 rate, we are still doing absurdly well right now. Plus the 92% morale really helps. Trauma supplies, though, that one's hurting. We are going to need to address that. 2 new patients coming in. Let's hope that it is regular surgeries. 1 for the decreased cost, but 2, those surgeons are all rested. They've been resting for a while, but we have a complication in the only surgery we're having right now. Longer rehab by 28 hours. Morale rise. Esprit de corps. 95% morale for the first time. That's an achievement right there. So I suppose that alone made it worth it. I don't know about you, but I enjoy getting the achievements. Okay, we did get 2 new patients, and they are both in the surgery ward. We have our 2 doctors that are nice and fresh. Actually, we have 3 of them, really, but let's get the other 2 some experience to try to catch up a little bit. 2 engineering projects, taking roughly 12 hours. Wow, another negative event. 2 in a very short period here. Increased cost, longer rehab. Obvious choice, longer rehab. Decreased cost by 5. Train.
Sir,
That's a personnel train.
Sent us an additional squad of soldiers straight from Britain. There is also a dispatch for you, sir.
Major Wells, I am grateful that my influence over HQ in Britain was enough to reach you. I made an effort to ensure that HQ keeps its promise and reinforces your facility with additional troops to replace my son. Understood. +6 strength at the front. So +6 strength at the front. That's a good thing. That helps us out. Not expected. Definitely not expected, but that was our VIP reward. They just keep flooding in. 3 more patients, and with that +6 to the front, we're going to take a +5 to HQ to balance that. Positive event. Shorter rehab. Morale's really high. We'll take the shorter rehab. We've got a lot of longer rehabs in there. And we suddenly have 10 patients at the casualty clearing station. And a scouting event that ended right there, right then. Scout team has no trouble finding the men, asking questions about the trenches and the hospital. Scout commander decides to tail them as they seem to be easily spooked by any signs of soldiers. After a short time, scouts follow them in to a small camp hidden in a grove. There are many men inside. All seem to talk in German. Observing the camp reveals that there are lots of documents scattered around inside the central tent. Some appear to be hand-drawn maps of the area. After a while, the men finished their discussion and started to break camp, probably to leave the area and report their findings. Crap, I was definitely going to report this to others, but now they're trying to leave. On the one hand, Scout Commander knows they will be gone in an hour or two. If he leaves now to notify HQ, he will surely lose track of them. On the other hand, attacking them now seems risky. The men outnumber his team and seem to be armed with handgun. Only handguns, though. It's a war, folks. It's a war. We're attacking the spies. It's 3 to whatever they said, many men. Maybe 3 to 6, but we've got them outgunned for sure. Just double checking. Our advanced dressing station is totally clear. There has not been very many patients from the front. Not much activity happening there of late. Pot shots here and there is about all. Risk down to nothing, plus a morale boost. 97. 2 more save patients, plus 35 overall now. But there is our 4th death during operation. And there's number 40. We're back to a 10 to 1 rate. Positive event here. Decreased risk, 4 to 2. Nice. Next mission, monastery life. Scout team sighted multiple times a man with a cart that hid each time the scouts tried to approach him. As this behavior is somewhat suspicious, scout team should be sent to ambush and question the man. 15 hours for the assignment. Positive event. 2 positive events and 2 surgeries happening right now. No risk, shorter operation, no risk, and morale boost, 98%. Casualty clearing station, I think I have everyone assigned. Let me see. No, not quite. We have 2 in the trauma ward, awaiting decision, but we've got to wait for our guy to rest, who is resting now, by the way. And then we have 2 here. We've got a well rest. Engineering Depot Enhancement 1 is complete. And we have a doctor ready for an upgrade. It's Collins Surgeon. 2nd upgrade for him. I'm going to do the same thing and make him inventive as we did with the other doctor. We immediately have a positive. This time a little bit more heading to HQ than to the trenches, but plenty for both. And our warehouse upgrade is complete. We're going to wait just a little bit for those guys to rest. Upgrading the warehouse only makes sense if you actually follow through with the subsequent upgrades, the ones that give you more. So we have increased storage, or we have number of available trucks. We're going to go with the increased storage. Scout event, missing girl. Scout team searched around the village and quickly found the tracks of 2 people leading into the nearby forest. One of the sets of footprints was visibly smaller, probably belonging to a woman. Following the tracks, scouts delved into the forest, where they found a clearing with a small camp. A young, around 16-year-old girl was in the camp, preparing a meal in a cauldron above the campfire. A young man sat next to her and was cleaning his rifle. Clearly, they seem to be in a couple, but Is he holding her hostage? Let's hide and observe for now. Girl looks happy, humming a lively song to herself. The man beside her smiles and glances at the girl from time to time. To the scout commander, this does not look like a kidnapping at all. Then the man spots the scouts hiding in the bushes. He jumps up and reaches for his gun while the girl hides behind his back. The man seems determined to protect the girl. I don't think we want to disarm him. Let's see if we can talk. Commander raises his hand slowly and tries to talk to them both. He explains he is a British soldier and was asked by the girl's father to find her. The girl tells the man to lower his gun. I fled from my father, she began to explain. He does not approve of my relationship and refused to give us his blessing. So we want to flee to Paris and get married there. Scout commander is not surprised. Stories like this happen all the time, even during wartime. He tries to convince the girl to not abandon her family. He is sure that with enough explanation, her father will accept her relationship. She only shakes her head. They had tried that already. She asks the scouts to return to her father and tell them they could not find her. The commander agrees. He needs to return to her father, even if it is only for more information. He is not convinced that lying to the father is the best option. For maybe just the second time all game, we've got the rehab center a bit overcrowded. There is one more to decide where to go, and we'll send him to the front, but there's a lot of time delays. We have sped things up, but it's still not meeting the needs. We are going to have to push to get the same upgrade we gave to the casualty clearing center, adding the 10 beds. As we have a negative event, we can lengthen the operation using the X-ray machine. That's the better way to go. We'll decrease the risk while we're at it, and actually less than the other one that's going to take 4 extra hours. Not too bad. That was pretty minor. That is our tunnel entrance. Digging the tunnel under the Zeppelin. If our calculations are correct, our tunnel is approaching the fallen Zeppelin. Engineers predict that the tunnel should hold the additional weight if they use additional supports, but they cannot be sure. We could try digging around it just to be safe, but this will require an additional workforce and food for working soldiers. We can tunnel below the Zeppelin, send 2 engineers for 24 hours. That's pretty long. That's like basically an upgrade time. It's also spending 500 freight for additional supports in the tunnel. The tunnel will be in a better shape. Or tunnel around the Zeppelin, still using 250 resources. 2 food is no problem. Tunnel will be in a slightly better shape, but there's an increased chance of soldiers getting injured, or leave the decision to Angus, which will increase risk if we don't choose. Screw it. This is a big mission. We want it to succeed. We're going all in on this, folks. We have 2 actively on an upgrade. We're going to pull them off of that. It's going to slow the upgrade down, but they begin the assignment there. If 4 is your number, now's a good time. We have 44 patients saved. 4 that have died. Already that number, that good time for you, has passed. It's an event, folks. What do we have here? Refugees coming our direction, one would think. That's my guess. A bunch of them are going to come into the casualty clearing station for us, I would assume. Meantime, we have already had additional patients. See what we can do for them. Just 1 at the surgery ward. We now have our well-rested doctor. We're going to put him... he's got higher risk. I'm going to put him with the better doctor. Trauma ward. He is well-rested and operating. We did give him his full rest, but he's going to need another before he can take on additional patients, and this is all lengthy stuff. By the way, chapter 2, look at the difference we're getting here. No wonder we're not running out of supplies. We now get 655 freight, and we're now getting 24 food supplies each time. Dang, no wonder. Oh my goodness. Okay. Life is much easier these days, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Decreased cost, shorter operation, low risk to begin with. We are nearly out of supplies, but we've got a train coming in an hour, and that's because we just sent everything to help on the front. Meanwhile, we've got an upgrade that's just about to finish, and there it is. Separate medical storage construction was finished. So, huge capacity increases, something we avoided in Chapter 1, but now need to address here in Chapter 2, and we have done so in a good way. Before we do another upgrade, though, we're clearly running short on guys with 2 of them going to do that. It's as good as an upgrade for the time being. These 2 are fresh, and in fact, everything's good there, so let's go ahead and get them out on assignment for a little bit, and when they need to rest, we'll pull somebody off. New train has arrived. It's got some supplies, and that's the alcohol shipment. So that's the train we ordered, supplies we ordered. Back up to 49 alcohol. No shortage except for on the freight itself. But we've got 3 hours until a regular train arrives. All 4 patients are at the trauma ward. All 4 of them. Our next fight, it's coming up in a matter of hours. The fight after that, 2 days later, 2.5 days later, we are not prepared for yet, even though we've committed quite a bit. So they're needing a lot more bodies to the front than before. For each subsequent fight, Germans are coming on heavier than before. Well, 99%. Rehab mostly cleared up. We're down to 4 guys here. We'll send 4 points to the front, 1 to HQ. And we have a 5-minute event. What do we have? Refugees. There they are. The refugees, group of refugees, came to the hospital. They asked for permission to take refuge here. They have women and children with them. Taking them in may strain our resources, but many of them will not survive the further journey. We are actually doing okay on resources. Our morale is super high. It's 99%. It's only going to gain 1 more. But if we send them the other way, we are going to see a morale drop. Damn it. Integrity. Suck it up, Buttercup. Where's my morale boost? I want that 100%. Does it cap out at 99? Because I didn't get a boost. But we got a whole lot of extra mouths to feed. Already that little addition we made in the rehab center of troops to the front has already turned us from red to green. So the tipping point on that one is very near. So we're doing pretty okay right now on how many guys we send to the front versus how much we're sending back to HQ, and we're getting a lot of points there. And the fact that we are drastically towards a very strong, I mean, it's like 12 to 1 right now. That ratio is short of rehab. In fact, almost no rehab whatsoever on that one. Making a real difference. Train arrived there. There's supplies up once again. Now it's really just those trauma supplies that are hurting. Those 10 beds for the rehab center, it's going to take us time. I'm only going to be assigning a single engineer to it because we've committed some to the tunnel digging. 4 contracts is easy. 360 freight, not the easiest, but getting 600 at a time makes it a lot easier to do this. 9.5 hours. We're going to send the guy who's already resting, which means it's going to be a little while before he gets on it, or he's only going to do it for a little bit and then take another rest. Like I said, not a huge rush. 2 new patients, both in the surgery ward. Doable, very doable for both. We'll spread it out to 2 different doctors. Somewhat higher risk, so we'll seek to lower that risk as opposed to putting it on the rookie doctor. I guess he's not a rookie anymore. He's just still a bit behind the others. It's Friar Tuck. Scout team decided to stake out the road that was probably most used by the man. It's not long before the man with a cart appears. Scout commander decides to reveal their presence. When they go out on the road, the man, clearly in confusion and panic, rushes to the nearest bushes and escapes, leaving the cart. Approaching the cart, scouts find it is filled with alcohol, herbal medicine, and mead. Confiscate the cart with alcohol. Yes, this time. This time it makes perfect sense. Supplies from the cart can be used to help with the hospital's needs. When the scouts try to take the cart, the bushes near the cart protest, and the man jumps out from them. He appears to be wearing robes, the kind used by friars. He falls to his knees and begs the scouts to not take the cart from him. When questioned, he explains his name is Tuck, and he is a friar in a monastery not far from here. He was tasked with delivering medicine and mead to nearby villages that need them. He explains he hides each time soldiers are near, as he was once robbed by them in the past, and he doesn't want it to happen again. Hey, not a very humane thing to do, to confiscate them, offer to escort him. Actually, the help, the escort part, good PR, but also confirmation that this is really Friar Tuck, because, I mean, it's Friar Tuck! Scout Commander tells Friar Tuck that they are no muggers and they will not be taking his cart, then proposes to escort him to the villages and help him deliver the supplies if he is so fearful of soldiers. Friar seems surprised. I forgot that there is still goodness in this world. He smiles and then accepts the scout's offer. He mentions that there are 3 villages that he needs to deliver supplies to, and then he can return to his monastery. He offers to provide the scouts with some monastery-made mead as a token of gratitude. We will escort him, deliver supplies. We will acquire 10 alcohol plus morale boost. And if we're lucky, we can find Robin Hood. Decrease cost of resources on a low-risk surgery. And yes, morale seems to be locked at 99%. Won't go higher. Oh. Boo. Patient died during operation. Not many of those have happened of late. Not many at all. But we are making some rapid progress in a number of areas. Things are going very well right now. We're committed to this big project at the front. That's our timer of 5 minutes. And here is some sort of follow-up event providing first aid. Sir, we've been noticed about an allied reconnaissance group nearby. HQ wants us to provide them with basic health checkup. Nothing a nurse couldn't do. If we do so, they'll grant us staff permits. Love that one. 12 hours for a nurse for 2 staff permits. We have 1 in staff lodging, and we have an extra 1 at the casualty clearing station. That surgery was meant to be our 50th success, but it was our 49th with just 5 failures. We're still on the verge of a 10-to-1 ratio and nearly a plus 45. Things are going absurdly good on that front. We have a great start to Chapter 2. We've made some rapid upgrades, and there is that 50th one. We're going to go ahead and end on that note. 50 survived already in the chapter. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.